I'm just waiting for the notification to come up so that everyone will know that I'm live before we get. In the meantime, don't forget to follow, and that way you'll get notifications when I go live. Right now, I'm just going to turn this down, and we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share it with Liz's craft first, so let's do that. All right, what I have is what I got from a tree, and was I traced it on my craft, my scrapbook page, and this is from the book that we used yesterday that says Haberdasher, and there's 20 designs, and it's from Paper Studio. It was 50% Hobby Lobby, probably in December, but their scrapbooking stuff goes off every now and then. So, and I did look up the term haberdashery, and I don't think it really applies to this because it says it's men's clothing and accessories. So, but anyway, we're using this page out of it, and I have this Taylor's chalk pencil that I've traced. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut. Jeff is watching. Hi, Jeff. So the next, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my scrapbooking paper pieces. And I thought it was going to be really cold today, but I think it turned out to be pretty nice. What you see, please feel free to sprinkle the love on your Facebook page so others can see it, and make sure you follow so that you'll be notified when I do go live. Again, I'm just cutting out the pieces that I traced the pieces beside each other so that I only had to cut one line, and I didn't have to, you know, cut that. I'll show you what I mean. Right here. Okay, so when I was cutting this, tracing it, I pushed it together. After I traced this, push that together, and then I traced this part. So I only have one line here to cut. See, I have that piece, and then I have this piece, and then my last. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this ribbon off, throw that away, and then this just tan, so I'm going to pull these off. And it doesn't really matter what the back looks like because we're going to be forward. And we'll put those pieces away. Okay, so my paper here so that I can put Mod Podge on my piece, and then I'm going to iron it on. So you want to make sure, and I'm just using a regular iron, you want to make sure it's on no steam, and you want to put it on the highest setting, which for mine is linen. So I'm just going to take my Mod Podge, and I am going to pour some in the lid. Ooh, Darcy's watching. Hey, Darcy. How's the weather there in West Virginia? Okay. So I've got that on, and I'm going to take my scrapbooking page here. And since this paper is so thick, I can go ahead and use my iron on it while it's wet. Oop. Okay, it slides a little bit. So don't move your iron too much. Maybe I should have dried it a little bit. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, now I'm just going to set this aside until we get our other pieces Mod Podged. And to prepare my heart is it had some sprinkles on it. I mean some glitter on it. So I went ahead and took my sanding block and sanded the glitter off. And you want to make sure you have the edges coated well. So again, I'm just laying my cutout piece of paper, scrapbook paper on there. So we have our second piece done. And we're going to move along to our third piece. Now this project is a little bit time consuming, so if you can't stay to watch it all, please feel free to watch the replay. You can always go to the videos section on Liz's craft page and look for any of the videos that you may have missed or that you might like, and then go. When you watch them, can you just type replay in the comments? That would be really good. That way I know that somebody's watching my videos after the fact. Okay, so I'm just laying my top of it, and then I'm going to iron it. And I'm not really iron, I'm just sitting it, letting it do its job, and then I'll pick it up and move it to another portion of the paper. The wrinkles and the bubbles out of your project, and it makes it all smooth and nice looking. Since it's pretty much stuck on there and it's not going to move around, I'm going to go ahead and move my iron. Okay, let's take a look at it. All right, looks pretty good. Now we're just going to do our last piece right here. Now to me, this paper looks more Victorian than haberdashery. I mean, I still don't know where they got that. Holly's watching. Hey, Holly. I'm glad you guys could join me. Like I said, this might be a kind of a long project, but I think you'll like it in the end. I'm going to work my grandchildren's picture in on it. All right. First start out, I'm not moving the iron, I'm just sitting it on top of it and I'm pressing down a little bit. Once it adheres, then I will move my hand. But you also need to be careful because when you touch this after you iron it, it's hot. This, I'm going to go ahead and try to iron it a little more. There is a few, I see some bubbles in it. I'm just pressing them out. I'm going from the middle, from the center of it out. And then I'm just going to take my sanding block and I'm going to go over this, the edges, just like we did yesterday, in case you watched the live yesterday. Get the excess paper off the edges and just gives it a real nice look. And then you can also do your sanding a little bit on the edges on the top, and it gives it kind of a worn look. So everybody seems to be lately. And like I said, if you like what you see and you know of anybody who likes to do these type of crafts, please feel free to do this. I would appreciate it. And Facebook knows that, and they'll keep them out there so everybody can. And I also have a group that's called Liz's Craft Friends. If you want to join that group, there's 2 questions you have to answer, and the questions are, do you like crafts and will you abide by the rules? Once you answer yes to those questions, I'll approve you unless I see something fishy about your account. We'll do the next one. I'm going to check for bubbles. It looks good. I'm going to go ahead and sand the edges. You want to sand at an angle, and then if you want to make the top part look a little distressed on the edge, then you could go a little bit on the top part of it. Okay, that looks good. Sorry if this is a little loud. You see how it just takes the end of the paper off? And if you want to, you could just do it with scissors. It doesn't look as nice, but if you didn't want to do all this with the sanding block, you wouldn't have to. It's just what you prefer, and I prefer this look. Just going to go over the top a little bit. Okay, so them down. Oh, another town, another show. Okay, this doesn't have any bubbles in it, so it looks real good. You can also put the Mod Podge on your surface and let it totally dry first before you iron it. Just do touch-ups if you find any spots that are not fully tacked down. Okay, like this part right here, it's not tacked down, so I want to add to that, and then I'm going to iron it. Okay, and then I'm just going to continue on with my sanding. And the sanding blocks you can get freight. They come in a package of 10 for like $5. They also sell them individually, or they did. I'm guessing they still do. I don't know. At the Dollar Tree for $1 each, but you know it's half price if you get them at Harbor Freight. Whew, it's hard on the muscles. Oh, I see Diane. Hey Diane, how are you? I'm having a wonderful day. Working on crafts. I thought the crafts that you did were really nice. Okay, so we got this one here done. And then we're going to do our last piece right here. We had a little problem with our heating this morning. We had a heat pump put in, I don't know, maybe a year or 2 years ago. Brand new, spent a lot of money on it, and so we sure weren't expecting any issues. But apparently the outside unit froze up, and there's a, I guess some kind of bypass heating, whatever could be done from the temperature control, but we didn't have the correct temperature control unit. So they came and they fixed that for us, and now we have heat. Lucky enough though, we do have a fireplace, and my husband built us a nice warm fire. It did end up getting down to 58 degrees in the house. So that was a little chilly. All right, these edges are a little bit more difficult because they're rounded, but I'm just going to keep at it. Okay, almost done. Starting to get hot. Woo. Okay. Woo. Now I just need to get the center part here where it dips into a V. And then as soon as I get that, then we can start on the next part of the project. Now to work on the V, this part, this right here, is at an angle and it works really well. Not all the sponges are like that, the sanding sponges. Most of them are just a rectangle on the edge here, but it does work for tight spaces. Okay, so I have that done. Let me get rid of shavings here. And then we're going to go to our heart. Okay, so I have this heart here that I got in a package from the Dollar Tree. There were 8 in a package. And it says love right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this pen, and it's a metallic painter's medium. It says it's non-toxic and no odor. However, I have to tell you, it does have an odor. And this is in silver. So, and I've had these for years. So I just dug them out of my drawer. And then you want to tap them on some paper or cardboard or whatever before you start, just to make sure the paint is flowing. And then I'm going to paint this word love with this pen. And I do believe they do have some painter's pens at the Dollar Tree, but you can also get them from any craft store, probably even Walmart too. I'm not sure, and I don't even know where I got these. I've had them for so long. I have 2 silver ones and 2 gold ones. So I thought I might as well use what I have. And if you find that the paint isn't coming out real well, then just tap it again on your cardboard or your paper to get it flowing. And I was like totally surprised that these pens still work, especially knowing that they're pretty daggone old. So I'm just filling in the letters with the painter's pen. And like I said, this one is silver. I thought it would go best with the paper. Okay, I'm just going to push up a little bit and where I think I might not have gotten it on thick enough. Okay, so we're done with the pen. Pretty sure we're done with the iron, so I'm just going to set that aside. Okay, so and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Mod Podge and my smaller brush. I'm not sure where it went. Let me check. Yep, left it in the bathroom. I'm going to take, it's actually a makeup brush, but I don't use it. So it's angled there. So I'm going to use my Mod Podge and I'm going to go around the edges of the heart. And then I'm going to put some pink glitter on it. So what you want to do is you kind of dab it on there. So there's enough glue. It's not like soaking into your heart. I'm not sure if you can see that. Anyway, so I'm just dabbing it on. So any places where you think it's soaked in, you want to put just some more Mod Podge on it. Okay, so I have it all the way around the edges. I think I'm done with my Mod. And then I'm just going to take my glitter and I'm going to just kind of sprinkle it on there, just where I have the Mod Podge. However, it doesn't matter if you go into the heart or outside of the heart because it's only going to stay where you put your Mod Podge. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm just going to pick this up, the hard part. Okay. Then I'm just tapping the back of it so it gets this glitter off. So this is what we have. Isn't that pretty? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put my glitter back in the container. And this was just some glitter that I had on hand. I probably got it, I don't know, from my mother, but it probably came from Hobby Lobby, or maybe, let's see if I can, it might have come from Walmart, I'm not sure, but I've had it for years. So that's what we have. I want to put a little flower on it. So I have these little flowers here. Again, I've had these for a long time. They came from Hobby Lobby. They were 2 for $1. So I think they're probably over in the wedding section. But like I said, I've had it for a while. So I'm just cutting one of the flowers off. And then I'm going to put it in the hole because these were I don't know why I always have a hard time with these. Well, decorations like you put on your tree. I can't think of the word. Anyway, so I'm just putting some hot glue around the hole, and then it gets in the hole. And then I'm just putting my little flower. It has a little teeny stem on it, so I'm putting that stem in the hole itself. Okay, so this is what we have. I actually have 4 of these, so I already pre-made 3 of them. And now we want to do some stenciling. So what I have is this grandchildren. It says it's a stencil from Magnolia Design. If you go to lizyonke.magnoliadesignco.com, you can see everything that's in Magnolia Design Company, all the items they have. This is the grandchildren stencil. I did put a link to it in the description, along with the Brilliant White chalk paste. We did use these also yesterday. The paste is still out of stock, but it should be coming back soon. Anyway, for the grandchildren stencil, you get 2 of them. This one says, grandchildren fill a place in your heart you never knew was empty. And then we have this one here that says side by side or miles apart, Grandchildren are always close to the heart. This is the one we're going to use today. I thought it was appropriate. So I'm not going to use the whole stencil all at once, but I'm going to use it in pieces. So for the first piece, on the left side of the upper heart, I'm just going to do the side by side. Now your chalk paste should look about the consistency of sour cream or yogurt, and if it doesn't, you can add distilled water to it. Don't use tap water, because if you do, it could mold because of all the ingredients that they add to tap water. So use distilled water. Get you a little spray bottle, and then once you spray it, just stir it up really good until it's the right consistency. So for this part here, we have the side by side. That's looking really good. Side by side. And then on this side, I'm going to put or miles apart. And I'm taking it down a little bit further than where I put the side by side. And I don't have to fuzz this stencil, because I've used it several times and it's really just not very sticky at all. But it still does the job. If you take care of your stencils, you can use them over and over lots of times. Okay, so here we have side by side or miles apart. And I'm going to set that aside. And now I'm going to go on to the next part. So the next part is this big grandchildren right here. Grandchildren. So I'm going to do that on the next piece. I'm not doing the heart or anything like that. I'm just doing the word grandchildren. So these stencils have the screen in them, and they're very detailed and very nice. Reusable, they're worth the money. They make your projects look like you bought them at the store. People will be amazed that you made them yourself. And if you do decide to buy something from Magnolia, please use my link in the description. I'll also put it in the comments when I get off of here, because I do get a little percentage when someone buys under my name. So that would be greatly appreciated. Okay, I'm just getting the excess off. Ooh, looks wonderful. Grandchildren. So I'm going to put that aside. And then I'm going to do Are Always Close. And then I'll do To the Heart on the last piece. Okay. You got to kind of be careful with the Y, because it's right up against the H. But I think if you got part of the H, you probably couldn't tell too much. But I'm going to try not to get it, so we'll see. We'll see how that works. Okay, I think that's good. Yeah. Get that. just going to take a peek. Ooh, looks good, looks good. I love these stencils, you guys. Love them. Are always close. And then we're going to do to the heart. To the heart. To the heart. Are always close to the heart. Isn't that true? Our grandbabies, aren't they awesome? They're so much more fun than your kids. I think it's just because, you know, you're not stressed. You don't have to worry about them, taking care of them, unless you're raising them. So you can always just give them back to their parents, and all you have to do is spoil them. There's like no, you don't have to worry about it, and that's why they're so much fun. And you can spoil them. You really couldn't do that too much with your kids. Okay, let's see. To the heart, yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my stencil face down. And now, you want to wash your stencil right away when you're done. And because I'm live, I can't do that. So I put it face down in the water so that the chalk paste doesn't clog up the screen. And I just use this squeegee to put the chalk paste on through like this. You can cut them apart and use them because it's easier to handle if you don't use the whole big thing. If you cut them apart, they're easier to mess with. Okay, so I'm going to get out my heat gun and I'm going to go ahead and make sure these are dry because I don't want to mess them up. They look really good. The first two I did are probably dry enough. It does dry pretty quickly. I had a little dot of chalk paste on this one, so I just took my fingernail and scraped it off. Okay, so I think we're done with drying these. They seem to be pretty well done. So we're good to go on that. Now we want to put everything together. I'm done with the Mod Podge. I don't need that anymore. I will need my glue gun. Don't need this anymore. Okay, so what we have is this board. Now this I got at Walmart earlier in last year. And it's a happy birthday little thing here. It's pretty thick. It's pretty solid. I'm going to use the other side. It has a hanger on it like this. So what I did was I have this old lace curtain that I've been cutting up. And I have several panels of it. And it's pretty big. And I didn't want to throw it away. But I didn't want to use it on my windows. So I've been cutting this. So all I did was Mod Podge this onto the back of the board. And that's what we're going to use as our surface. So I don't think I need that anymore. Okay, and then another thing I have is this right here. Now what I did with this is I Googled how to Mod Podge a photo onto wood. So the way I did it was I took a piece of plain white paper. I printed this picture, but before I printed it, I flipped it. I reversed it so that it was opposite of the way you would see it if you looked at it from the picture point of view. I mean, you don't have to do that, but it would be opposite of what you think it should be. But it doesn't matter. It's just whatever you prefer. So I printed it on the paper. I Mod Podged the picture. I cut the picture down. I Mod Podged the picture pretty thickly. I put it on this piece of wood. I tried to make sure there were no bubbles in it. Then I let it sit overnight. Then I took a sponge that was damp, and then I just started kind of rubbing it lightly. And then I took my finger and I was rubbing it more to get the paper off of it. And this was the final result. And once I got off everything that I thought I could get off, because I ended up rubbing the picture itself off, like right here and here and here and here. There's some spots, but I kind of like those. It kind of gives it an old feel. And when I finished that, I put a layer of Mod Podge over top of the picture. So that's how I ended up with this. So I want to put this in the bottom right-hand corner, left-hand corner, but I want to take the top part of it and the bottom part of it, and I want to put this ribbon on it. This ribbon was from the Dollar Tree. It says, "I picked you," and it has red hearts on it. Let me get a drink. So I'm just going to take my let me see, I'm going to decide where I want this. And I will probably wrap it around partially in the back. Where's my scissors? My good scissors. Okay. And I'm going to use my hot glue for this. So I'm going to put two lines of glue on here. One right on the top of the picture. And my picture is a little bit crooked. And then another right above the picture. And then decide where I want this to go. I think just like that. And then I want to go ahead and put hot glue on the ends of this ribbon, and then just tack it around the edge here and into the back. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side after I cut a little bit of it off, just a little bit too long. And then we're going to do the same thing to the bottom. I thought this was just some cute ribbon. Got it from the Dollar Tree. Thought it was nice. So this is what we have so far. And now I'm going to put the ribbon on the bottom of it. So I'm just going to decide how I want my ribbon. And I want it more like the way the top is. So I'm going to cut it at the C. And this one, let's see, it was cut at the Y. Okay, so I think we're done with that. Again, I'm going to put a strip of glue along the bottom edge of the picture, and then another strip a little ways underneath that. So that way both edges of the ribbon get tacked down. And then just glue the edges like we did the previous top part. Okay, so this is what we have. Isn't that cute? My grandbabies. This is Casey, she's the oldest, and then we have William, her brother, and then we have Kaylin. Casey and William are my son's children, and Kaylin is our daughter's child. Okay, so I want this to stand out a little bit, I think. Let me go ahead and start with the pull apart heart. So let's see where we want that. And I want to leave some space in between each piece when I put it on here. Let me get some of this glue strings off of here. Just like that. And see, this actually is going to be laying on top of this, so I want to raise that up a little bit. So in order to do that, I have these tumbling tower blocks, and you can get a box of these tumbling tower blocks at the Dollar Tree. I noticed when I first started buying these that they were like 48 in a pack, and now that has doubled. So you get twice as much for the same dollar than you did before. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm just going to put one at the top, one at the bottom, and one on each side. And I'm also going to put some E6000 on here. So I'm going to put some E6000 in the center, and then I'm going to put some hot glue on the edge, on each end. And that way you have two adhesives holding your blocks together. And you don't have to depend just upon one. Okay, so we have our blocks ready. Now the first thing I want to do before I put that on is to get my heart attached. And for that, I'm going to have to stand up. Now I'm going to put a little E6000 on here, and then I'm going to put some hot glue on it, just like I did the box. I'm going to press it down, and then I'm going to go to the next piece and do the same thing. Okay. I'm just putting some E6000 in the center, and then I'm taking the hot glue on the edge. Then you want to line it up and just have some space in between the two pieces of the heart. So put the E6000 right here, and then the hot glue. Leave some space in between this piece and the last piece that was put on. And then press it down. And I need another glue stick. Okay. Now we're ready for the last piece. Okay, you're gonna leave space in between and then just press it on there. So what's everybody up to today? Any plans on crafting or doing anything? Maybe. We've got done. We've emptied out a lot of stuff. We've donated items to the Texas Paralyzed Veterans. We've gotten a ton of stuff, the landfill and all that. And we're just cleaning up our house. We've been living here since 1994. And, you know, when you're in the military and you move around every couple of years, you accumulate a lot of stuff. And, but if you live in one place for 20 some years, you accumulate a lot of stuff, and, you know, you need to go through and get rid of it, because otherwise then, like my daughter says, we become hoarders. I don't think we were to that point, but we had a lot. Let's just put it that way. We had a lot. And when you do the E6000 and a hot glue, you need to put the E6000 on first, because it doesn't dry right away. And then you do your hot glue last, because it does dry quickly. So I'm just pressing down on the board where the pieces are. How did that get crooked? Oh well. And now we have our hearts. Okay, let me show you what we have so far. What do you guys think? If you like it, you want to give me some hearts? Is this something that you think you might do? All of it together is very easy. It didn't take a whole lot of time separately, but together, of course, it does take a little bit of time, but it's totally worth it. So I'm just going to put my hearts on here as to where I think they should go. Looks like I might not be able to use them all, because I must have put things on here a little bit differently than when I started out. So I guess we'll just use 3 of them. So I'll use those 3 right there. And again, I'm using the E6000 and the hot glue. When I get done with this and I'm offline, I will take a picture of it and I'll put it on Liz's Craft page, and I'll also put it on Liz's Craft Friends. And like I said, if you want to join Liz's Craft Friends, there's just 2 questions you need to answer, and that's, do you love craft? Do you like crafts? And will you abide by the rules? And if you answer yes to those, I will approve you unless I see something fishy going on with your profile, and then I might decline. So that's just a place where we can share the items that we make, and we can inspire each other to make different projects that you've made. Please feel free to put it on Liz's Craft Friends. I would appreciate it, and then we can all see what you've done. All right, so I think we're finished with this. What do you guys think? So again, I will hang this up and I'll take a picture of it and put it on Liz's Crafts and Liz's Craft Friends. And tomorrow I should be back with another project. So I will let you know about at least 30 minutes ahead of time before I go live. So you'll know when I'm doing my live. And until tomorrow, or until we come back, keep crafting. See ya.